The lights in the Galactic archives dimmed as the night cycle began, but Tom Reed stayed at his desk, his eyes fixed on the glowing screen in front of him. As a senior archivist, he had spent 15 years organizing and studying the vast collection of alien records, but nothing had prepared him for what he had just found. It started with a simple task, cleaning up old military files from the pre-contact era. But deep in the database, hidden behind layers of security, Reed discovered something that made his hands shake. The real reason Earth had been kept isolated from the rest of the galaxy for so long wasn't because humans were dangerous. It was because of Earth's animals. Reed leaned back in his chair, running his hands through his gray hair. The file in front of him showed detailed observations of Earth's military history, but not from any human perspective. These were alien reports, stretching back thousands of years, all focused on one thing: how humans had partnered with other species to wage war. "Computer, show me file E2756, Reed said, his voice barely a whisper in the empty archive hall. A new document appeared, this one containing images that made his eyes widen. It showed ancient battles where humans had used elephants, these massive creatures charging through alien observation posts like they were made of paper. The aliens had never seen anything like it, a species willingly partnering with another for combat. But that was just the beginning. Reed found report after report detailing Earth's animals and their capabilities. The aliens had been watching, studying, and most importantly, fearing. They feared the dogs that could smell bombs better than any alien detection device. They feared the dolphins that could outmaneuver their best underwater vehicles. They even feared the birds that could be trained to carry messages through any defense system. As Reed dug deeper, he found something that made him laugh out loud. A whole section was dedicated to honey badgers, with a big red warning label marking them as extinction-level threats. The aliens had actually considered these small, fearless creatures as one of the most dangerous weapons on Earth. The sound of footsteps made Reed quickly minimize the screen. One of the cleaning robots passed by, its lights blinking in the darkness. Once it was gone, he returned to his work with renewed focus. There was more here, so much more. He pulled up another file, this one showing recent observations. The aliens had been watching modern military training camps where dogs worked alongside soldiers. The report noted with alarm how these animals could detect hidden explosives, track targets across impossible distances, and show loyalty that the aliens couldn't comprehend. Their own attempts to create similar partnerships with creatures from other worlds had all failed. Reed's hands moved quickly over the holographic keyboard as he began copying the most important files. This wasn't just some interesting historical footnote. This was the key to changing humanity's place in the galaxy. For decades, Earth had been treated like a backward planet, barely allowed to participate in galactic affairs. All because the aliens had been too afraid to admit the truth. A message popped up on his screen. The morning shift would start in 1 hour. Reed knew he needed to make a decision. According to the archives, there was a secret committee in the Galactic Council dedicated to keeping Earth's animals away from space. They had pushed for the quarantine, spread rumors about human aggression, all to hide their real fear. Reed thought about his own dog back home, a friendly golden retriever named Max who wouldn't hurt a fly. Then he thought about the thousands of other animals on Earth, each with their own amazing abilities. The aliens were right to be amazed, but wrong to keep it secret. He began preparing a presentation for the Galactic Council. They needed to know that the truth was out. Humanity deserved to know why they had been held back, and the galaxy needed to understand that Earth's greatest strength wasn't in weapons or technology, but in its ability to form bonds with other species. As the first rays of artificial dawn began to light up the archive hall, Reed saved his work and stood up. Tomorrow, he would start the process that would change everything. The galaxy wasn't ready for Earth's animals, but they didn't have a choice anymore. The truth was coming out, and nothing could stop it. Reed spent the next 3 days buried deep in the ancient records section of the archives. The holographic displays surrounding his desk showed images that looked like they came from old Earth history books. But these were different. These were alien observations of Earth's military history, and they told a story that no human had ever heard before. An alien report from 218 BC caught his attention. It described a battle where Hannibal crossed the Alps with war elephants. But this wasn't a human account. It was written by a terrified alien scout who had been watching from a cloaked ship. The report described the elephants as living siege engines and warned that any species capable of taming such creatures must never be allowed to reach the stars. As Reed dug deeper, he found more evidence. The ancient Egyptians' cats had been marked as biological security systems in alien reports. The feline's ability to detect invisible beings had forced multiple alien observation teams to abandon their posts. The aliens had never encountered creatures that could sense their presence even when using their most advanced cloaking technology. The archives held thousands of videos showing dolphins in action. Reed watched in amazement as Earth's dolphins outwitted alien underwater drones during the Cold War. The aliens had been stunned by the dolphins' natural sonar abilities, which worked better than any technology they had developed. Even more shocking was how the dolphins worked willingly with human naval teams, showing a level of cross-species cooperation that the aliens had thought impossible. Another file made Reed pause. It was marked Extreme Danger and contained observations of honey badgers. He couldn't help but smile as he read how alien scientists had concluded that these small animals were practically unstoppable. There were records of honey badgers surviving attacks that should have killed them, fighting off predators many times their size, and showing a determination that the aliens found terrifying. One report seriously suggested that a group of honey badgers could potentially take down a small spaceship if they put their minds to it. But what really caught Reed's attention were the ancient cavalry records. The aliens had been amazed by how humans and horses worked together in battle. They had spent years trying to understand how humans had convinced such powerful animals to carry them into danger. Their own attempts to create riding animals all failed because they couldn't grasp the concept of trust between species. A small notification popped up on Reed's screen, reminding him of the time. He had been so absorbed in the records that he'd forgotten about his meeting with the archive director in 10 minutes. Quickly, he began organizing his findings. The evidence was clear. Earth's animals had shaped alien policy toward Earth for thousands of years. He found records of failed alien experiments where they tried to copy Earth's animals. They had attempted to create their own version of war dogs, but couldn't replicate the loyalty and intelligence that came naturally to Earth's canines. They had tried to engineer creatures with the strength of horses, the intelligence of dolphins, and the fearlessness of honey badgers. Every attempt had failed miserably. As Reed walked to the director's office, he thought about how this information would change everything. Humans had always assumed they were kept isolated because the aliens saw them as primitive or dangerous. The truth was almost funny. The aliens weren't afraid of human weapons or technology. They were afraid of the pets sleeping in human homes, the birds flying in Earth's skies, and the fish swimming in Earth's oceans. He clutched his data pad tightly, knowing that its contents would shock the galaxy. Inside were thousands of years of evidence showing how Earth's animals had unknowingly shaped galactic politics. The aliens had created an entire containment policy just to keep Earth's animals from reaching other planets. Reed stopped at the director's door, taking a deep breath. He knew that what he was about to share would change humanity's place in the galaxy forever. The truth about Earth's animals couldn't stay hidden any longer. As he knocked on the door, he wondered if the galaxy was ready to learn that Earth's greatest weapons had been walking alongside humans all along, not as tools of war, but as partners and friends. The archive director's face turned pale as she looked through Reed's findings. She pushed back her chair and walked to the window overlooking the massive archive complex. "Are you absolutely sure about this, Reed?" she asked, her voice barely steady. Reed nodded, then pulled up his latest discoveries about modern Earth animals on the room's main display. The screen filled with images of military working dogs in action. These weren't historical records anymore. These were current alien observations of Earth's canine units. The report showed dogs detecting hidden explosives that even the most advanced alien scanners missed. They could track targets across miles of difficult terrain, work in conditions that would disable any machine, and make split-second decisions that amazed alien observers. "Look at this," Reed said, pulling up another file. They tried to create their own version of Earth's military dogs. They spent 50 years and countless resources trying to engineer the perfect detection unit. He gestured at the screen showing the failed alien attempts. They couldn't match what Earth dogs do naturally. The aliens still don't understand how dogs can smell things their best technology can't detect. But it wasn't just the dogs that worried the aliens. Reed brought up recent surveillance footage of ravens and crows in major Earth cities. The aliens had been secretly studying these birds for years, growing increasingly concerned about their intelligence. The report showed crows solving complex puzzles, using tools, and even understanding traffic patterns. One particularly worried alien scientist had noted that Earth's corvids showed problem-solving abilities that matched or exceeded their best artificial intelligence systems. The director sat back down, her hands clasped tightly. "There's more, isn't there?" she asked. Reed nodded and brought up what he considered the most shocking discovery yet. "They're terrified of Earth's insects," he explained, showing footage of ant colonies and beehives. "The aliens have never seen anything like the collective intelligence of Earth's social insects. They've calculated that a coordinated army of ants could theoretically disable a starship's systems. And the bees," he paused, bringing up another report. "They classified Earth's bees as potential weapons of mass destruction due to their ability to work together and their critical role in Earth's ecosystem." The footage showed bees navigating complex three-dimensional spaces with perfect precision, communicating through dance, and working together to solve problems. The aliens had spent decades studying how bees could pass information so accurately without any technology. They couldn't comprehend how such small creatures could have such complex social organization. Even Earth's smallest animals show abilities that the aliens can't explain. Reed continued. "They've documented spiders building webs stronger than their best materials, squirrels solving obstacle courses that their eye fails at, and pigeons navigating using Earth's magnetic field better than their ship's computers." The director stood up again, pacing the room. "Do you understand what this means, Reed? If this gets out, it will change everything. The quarantine, our place in the galaxy, all of it was because they're afraid of our animals." Reed nodded, bringing up one final piece of evidence. It was a recent security assessment from the highest levels of alien government. The report concluded that if Earth's animals ever reached other planets, they could completely upset the galactic balance of power. The aliens believed that human-animal partnerships could outperform their best military technology. "They're not just afraid of our animals' natural abilities," Reed explained. "They're afraid of how humans work with animals. Look at this." He showed footage of search and rescue dogs, guide dogs helping blind people, therapy animals in hospitals, and farm animals working alongside humans. The aliens can't understand these partnerships. They've never seen two species work together like this. To them, it's like we have some kind of biological technology that they can't copy. The director finally stopped pacing and looked at Reed with serious eyes. "What do you want to do with all this?" Reed took a deep breath. "The truth needs to come out. Humans deserve to know why we've been kept isolated. And maybe, just maybe, if the galaxy understands the truth about Earth's animals, they'll see them as the amazing partners they are, not as weapons to be feared." A small alert popped up on the display. More classified files had been found matching Reed's search criteria. The director looked at the alert, then at Reed. They both knew this was just the beginning. The true story of Earth's animals was about to change the galaxy forever. Reed and the director spent hours going through the newly discovered files. What they found made them both sit in stunned silence. The conspiracy went deeper than anyone could have imagined. The Galactic Council hadn't just been watching Earth. They had actively worked to keep Earth's animals from reaching other worlds. Hidden in the deepest parts of the archive, they found records of a secret committee called the Earth Containment Initiative. It had been created over 300 years ago, when aliens first realized the true potential of Earth's animals. The committee had one goal: make sure Earth's animals never left their home planet. "Look at this," Reed said, pointing to a document on the screen. It showed how the committee had spread false rumors about human aggression throughout the galaxy. They had convinced other species that humans were too violent to join galactic society. But it was all a cover story. The real reason was much simpler. They were terrified that humans would bring their animal partners with them into space. The director leaned forward, reading another report. It detailed how alien scientists had tried to copy Earth's animals. They had spent centuries attempting to engineer creatures that could match the abilities of Earth's species. They tried to create dogs with enhanced smell, birds with advanced problem-solving skills, and insects that could work together like Earth's ants and bees. Every single attempt had failed. They couldn't understand why their experiments failed, Reed explained, bringing up more files. They had the best genetic technology in the galaxy, but they couldn't copy what Earth's animals do naturally. It drove them crazy. He showed footage of alien scientists growing increasingly frustrated as their created creatures failed to show the same abilities as Earth's animals. The files revealed something even more surprising. The committee had agents on Earth, disguised as humans. These agents had one job: discourage humans from bringing animals into space. They had influenced movie makers to create films where animals in space met bad ends. They had spread stories about how space travel would be harmful to animals, all to keep Earth's creatures on their home planet. Reed found records of emergency meetings when humans first started talking about sending animals into space. The committee had panicked when they heard about plans for space stations with animals. The idea of Earth's dogs, cats, and birds living in space had terrified them. They had worked hard to make sure such projects never got funding. But why? The director asked, looking at a particularly worried alien report about the possibility of dogs on space stations. Why are they so afraid? Reed pulled up another file, this one marked with the highest security rating. "Because they know something we don't," he said. "Earth's animals aren't just special on Earth. They're unique in the galaxy." The file showed surveys of thousands of alien worlds. None of them had animals that could match Earth's species in intelligence, adaptability, and ability to work with other species. The truth was shocking. In all their exploration of space, aliens had never found animals like Earth's. They had never seen creatures that could solve problems like crows, work together like ants, or form partnerships like dogs. Earth's animals weren't just weapons. They were evolutionary miracles that the rest of the galaxy couldn't copy or understand. More files popped up on the screen. The committee had plans ready in case Earth's animals ever did reach space. They had built special containment facilities on distant planets. They had created emergency response teams. They had even mapped out possible escape routes to other galaxies, just in case Earth's animals proved as unstoppable in space as they feared. The director stood up and walked to the window again. The artificial sun was setting, casting long shadows across the archive complex. "We can't keep this hidden," she said finally. "The galaxy needs to know the truth." Reed nodded, already preparing a presentation for the Galactic Council. But as he worked, he couldn't help wondering, what would happen when humans finally learned why they had been kept from the stars? And more importantly, what would happen when Earth's animals finally reached space? A small alert appeared on his screen. Someone had accessed the committee's files from another terminal. They weren't the only ones who had discovered the truth. Time was running out. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council had never been so full. Representatives from hundreds of alien species packed the circular chamber, their voices a low murmur of different languages and sounds. At the center podium, Reed stood quietly, waiting for the council leader to call the session to order. His presentation was ready, but his hands wouldn't stop shaking. The director sat in the front row, giving him an encouraging nod. They had spent the last week preparing for this moment, knowing it would change everything. The files they had discovered were now safely backed up in multiple locations. There was no stopping the truth from coming out. The council recognizes Senior Archivist Reed. The council leader announced, his voice echoing through the chamber. You may begin your presentation. Reed took a deep breath and activated the main display. The massive screen came to life, showing Earth in all its blue and green beauty. Honored council members, he began. For centuries, you have kept Earth isolated from the galactic community. Today, I will show you why. The images change, showing Earth's animals in action. Dogs tracking scents that alien sensors couldn't detect. Dolphins navigating complex underwater mazes. Ravens solving puzzles that stumped alien eye. Ants building structures that defied alien engineering principles. With each image, the murmur in the chamber grew louder. Your own reports prove it, Reed continued, bringing up the classified documents. Earth's animals aren't just unique. They're beyond anything you've found in the galaxy. You've spent centuries trying to copy them, and centuries more trying to keep them contained on Earth. The chamber erupted in shocked voices as Reed revealed the existence of the Earth Containment Initiative. Many council members turned to stare at a group of officials sitting in a private box. The committee members themselves, their faces showing a mix of anger and fear. You told everyone that humans were too aggressive for space travel, Reed said, his voice growing stronger. But the truth is, you were afraid of the animals that live alongside us. You were afraid of what would happen if dogs joined us on space stations, if birds flew through alien skies, if Earth's insects found new worlds to explore. He showed the failed alien experiments, the attempts to create their own versions of Earth's animals. The chamber grew quiet as they watched their best scientists fail again and again to copy what Earth's animals did naturally. But here's what you never understood, Reed said, changing the display. Now it showed humans working with animals, guide dogs helping the blind, therapy animals in hospitals, search and rescue teams working together. Earth's animals aren't weapons. They're our partners, our friends. They make us better, not more dangerous. A small commotion at the back of the chamber caught everyone's attention. The human representatives had arrived, their faces showing shock as they learned the real reason their world had been kept isolated. Reed had made sure they would be here for this moment. We've kept this secret for too long, Reed continued. Humans deserve to know why they were held back from the stars. And you, honored council members, need to understand that Earth's animals aren't a threat to be contained. They're a gift to be shared. The display changed one final time, showing the galaxy as seen from Earth. Imagine what we could achieve together, Reed said softly. Imagine space stations where dogs help detect hull breaches before they happen. Imagine dolphins helping us explore alien oceans. Imagine ravens helping us solve problems our computers can't handle. The chamber was completely silent now. Reed could see the council members looking at each other, their expressions a mix of fear and wonder. The human representatives had moved closer to the podium, their eyes fixed on the screen. The choice is yours, Reed finished. We can keep living in fear of Earth's animals, or we can embrace what makes them special. But whatever you decide, the truth is out now. You can't keep Earth contained forever. As Reed stepped back from the podium, the chamber exploded into chaos. Some council members were shouting for stricter containment. Others were calling for immediate cooperation with Earth. The committee members were trying to leave quietly, but security was already moving to stop them. In the midst of it all, Reed caught the director's eye. She smiled and mouthed two words. Well done. The galaxy would never be the same again. And maybe, just maybe, that was exactly what it needed. 3 days after Reed's presentation, the Galactic Council was still in an uproar. The massive council building now had two distinct camps of aliens gathered outside. One group demanded stronger containment of Earth, carrying signs with warnings about Earth's dangerous animals. The other group waved banners supporting Earth, eager to learn from humans and their animal partners. Reed watched the crowds from his office window in the archives. The news had spread faster than anyone expected. Every screen in the galaxy seemed to be showing Earth's animals now. Videos of dogs performing incredible feats, birds solving complex puzzles, and ants building amazing structures were playing everywhere. His computer chimed with another diplomatic request. This was the 57th one today. It seemed every alien species either wanted to ban Earth completely or form an immediate alliance. There was no middle ground anymore. "You've started quite the political storm," the director said, entering his office. She looked tired but pleased. "The Blue Star Empire is threatening to build a containment wall around Earth's entire solar system. Meanwhile, the Trading Worlds Alliance is offering Earth full membership and technology exchange rights." Reed nodded, pulling up more diplomatic messages on his screen. "The hive clusters are particularly interested in our bees and ants," he said. "They've offered to share their fastest space drives in exchange for studying Earth's social insects, and the deep space swimmers can't stop talking about our dolphins." A news alert flashed across his screen. Another alien science ship had arrived at Earth's orbit, joining the growing fleet of observation vessels. They were all keeping their distance, following the old containment protocols, but their presence was making everyone nervous. "The human governments are overwhelmed," the director said, showing Reed a report from Earth. "They're trying to process the fact that they were kept out of space because of their pets and wildlife. Some are angry, others are proud. Most are just confused." Reed understood their confusion. It was still hard to believe that Earth's animals had shaped galactic politics for so long. But the evidence was undeniable, and now everyone had to deal with the consequences. A loud argument outside drew their attention back to the window. A group of alien protesters was facing off against another group. One side was demonstrating how their best security scanners couldn't match a dog's nose. The other side was using this same fact to argue why Earth's animals were too dangerous to allow in space. "We need to find a solution fast," the director said, watching the confrontation below, "before this turns into something worse than a diplomatic crisis." As if on cue, Reed's screen lit up with an emergency alert. A small group of alien ships had broken away from the observation fleet. They were headed toward Earth, claiming they wanted to secure the planet's most dangerous animals. "They're afraid," Reed said, reading the increasing panic in the diplomatic messages. "They've spent centuries containing Earth's animals, and now that containment is breaking down, they don't know what to do." The director quickly sent orders to increase security at the archives. They couldn't risk losing any of the evidence now. "Some species are already trying to steal our research," she said. "They want to know how Earth's animals evolved to be so special. Others are looking for weaknesses they can exploit." Reed pulled up another report, this one showing increased activity around Earth's moon. More alien ships were arriving every hour. Some were scientific vessels, eager to study Earth's animals up close. Others were clearly military ships, their weapons not quite hidden. "We need to show them that Earth's animals aren't weapons to be controlled or stolen," Reed said. "They're partners to be understood." He started working on a new presentation, one that would show the galaxy a different way forward. The director watched him work, noting how the crowds outside were growing larger. "Let's hope they're ready to understand," she said quietly. "Because right now, the galaxy seems ready to either worship Earth's animals or go to war over them." Reed nodded, still typing. The truth about Earth's animals was out now, but the real challenge was just beginning. Somehow, they needed to find a way to bring peace before the galaxy tore itself apart over Earth's most unique residents. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Council had been going for 6 hours when Reed finally got his chance to speak again. The chamber was tense, filled with the angry voices of species arguing about Earth's fate. Some were still calling for strict containment, others for immediate alliance, and a few were even suggesting more extreme measures. Reed stood at the podium, waiting for quiet. Behind him, on the massive screen, A simple video played on loop. It showed a small girl with a guide dog, both of them walking carefully through a busy street. The dog watched for dangers, guided her around obstacles, and stayed completely focused on keeping her safe. "You're all missing the point," Reed said softly, but his voice carried through the chamber. "You're so busy arguing about weapons and power that you've forgotten what makes Earth's animals truly special." He gestured to the screen. "This is what we can teach you. Not how to use animals as weapons, but how to form partnerships that make both species better." The chamber grew quiet as Reed changed the video. Now it showed various scenes from Earth: search and rescue dogs finding survivors in disasters, therapy cats helping sick children, dolphins guiding lost ships to safety, birds warning humans of approaching storms, and bees pollinating fields of crops. "Earth's animals aren't superior because they're more dangerous," Reed continued. "They're special because they've learned to work with another species, and we've learned to work with them." He paused, looking around the chamber. "That's what we're offering the galaxy. Not weapons, but partnership." A representative from the Trading Worlds Alliance stood up. "But how can we trust that these abilities won't be used against us?" he asked. Others nodded in agreement. Reed smiled and pressed a button. The screen changed again, showing new footage. This time it was from the archives themselves, showing how Reed had made his discovery. But he wasn't alone in the footage. A small robot cleaner was there, helping him organize files and bringing him drinks when he worked late. "Because we already know how to work with other types of beings," Reed explained. "Humans partner with animals, yes, but we also work with machines, computers, and artificial intelligences. We understand partnership in a way that might be unique in the galaxy." The human representatives, who had been quietly watching until now, stood up. Their speaker, a tall woman with gray hair, stepped forward. "We propose a compromise," she said. "Earth will share its knowledge of animal partnerships, but not as weapons. We'll create a new initiative, the Earth Animal Understanding Initiative, a program to teach the galaxy how to form true partnerships with other species." The chamber burst into discussion. Reed could see the idea taking hold. Even the species that had been most afraid of Earth's animals were starting to look interested. "Imagine," Reed said, his voice cutting through the noise, "a galaxy where every species learns from Earth's example, where we all understand how to work with other forms of life. Not through control or fear, but through trust and cooperation." The council leader stood up, raising his hands for silence. "We will vote," he announced, "not on containment or weapons, but on this new initiative, on learning from Earth's special relationship with its animals." The vote was quick and nearly unanimous. Earth would be freed from its isolation, but with a new purpose. Instead of being feared for its animals, it would become a teacher for the galaxy. As the council chamber emptied, Reed felt a small nudge against his leg. He looked down to see one of the cleaning robots offering him a drink, just like in the archive footage. He smiled and took it, patting the robot's smooth head. The director walked over, looking pleased. "Well done," she said. "You didn't just expose the truth. You found a way forward." Reed nodded, watching as human and alien representatives began discussing plans for the new initiative. "The galaxy wasn't ready for Earth's animals before," he said, "but maybe now they're ready to learn what makes them truly special." Outside the council building, the protesters had stopped fighting. Many were watching the news about the new initiative, and some were even talking to each other, sharing stories about their own world's creatures. The fear was being replaced by curiosity, the anchor by interest. Earth's animals would finally reach the stars, not as weapons of war, but as teachers of one of the most important lessons in the galaxy: the power of working together.